Sam was taking 5.7 sacks per game from weeks 1 through 7. In the last 3 weeks, he's only taking 2.3, so he's cut it more than in half.
He's still on track to set the single-season record, but he's not on the track, on the pace he was before to absolutely obliterate.
Right. I mean, it's going to get close. In fact, if he keeps cutting this number down, he may not set the record.
Hopefully that's the case.
And then he points out that, coincidentally, and again, this is where I've always maintained that Sam may have a bit of an issue here, but you could scheme around this stuff. Bieniemy's finally figured it out. 8 weeks in, they've now upped running back targets.
Mm-hmm.
Gibson in week 8 had 5 targets. Week 9 had 5. Last week had 6. So
hasn't he gone 3 straight games with 5 receptions? I think that's his stat line. I can double check it. I'll pull up his game logs.
Right. In the first 7 weeks, running backs were only targeted about 4.5 times. Since then, over 8.5.
Yeah.
So they've doubled the running back targets, and that obviously relieves pressure. We've seen them do some more play action, misdirection, that sort of thing. So I think they're scheming up better.
Yeah, he's got 3 straight games with 5 receptions.
I think it also, a lot of it coincides, obviously, with Tyler Larson and Chris Paul stepping in. I think they've solidified the line a little bit. I still don't think it's great.
They're layup type plays for a young quarterback. And I like that Bieniemy is incorporating it more into the game plan.
And they're clearly drilling into him. He's got to get rid of the football quickly.
Right.
Sometimes I think that's part of the reason why McLaurin and Dotson don't get those targets, because he's getting rid of the ball like 2.5 seconds or less.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're not there right away, he's got to move on to his next read.
Look, when there's a jailbreak coming at you because your offensive line is subpar, please major in getting rid of the ball quickly.
I thought John Kine made a great point, too, on one of his podcasts. Love John's show. And he talked about how, remember years ago when John Beck had a run, and I don't know if it was against the Bills or somebody, but he had like 9, 10, 11 sacks, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then the next week, everything was a dump off to the running back.
Right.
You just stopped looking downfield, That's not what Howell does. Howell will stand in the pocket, take a hit, and it's interesting because there's some articles that have been written about it, and they talked to Sam about it, and he has an interesting take. He said, when he was growing up playing football in, Pop Warner and high school and everything else, he used to run the ball, he said, 20 to 30 times a game.
Right.
He's used to the beating. He's used to waking up like Valdez, barely able to walk. He says now,
poor Valdez,
in an NFL game, after an NFL game, he feels great.
Right.
Compared to what he's used to. Because maybe he gets hit 7 or 8, 10 times here, but growing up, he used to get hit 20, 30 times a game.
Yeah, but it wasn't by NFL linebackers and
relative.
Defensive ends.
It's all relative. Guys,
the worry is
his size.
Can he withstand that type of punishment consistently?
Well, so far he has. And the other thing is I know a lot of people have talked to like Kurt Warner. They've commented on this. Orlovsky. They're not seeing like the happy feet from him either. So like he's taken a lot of hits and is on this record pace, but he's still standing. Even his quarterback coach, is it Tavika Pritchard or however you say his name, Tavika maybe? Yeah. He stands right in there, takes a hit, drills a throw, and we've seen it multiple times. So just a lot of things trending in the right direction at quarterback, and you got to be excited about it.
And back to your point, if you're throwing the ball to Gibby and you're throwing the ball to Brian Robinson, who I think has proven he can be an every down back.
Yeah, he's doing great.
He catches the ball as well as Antonio Gibson.
Tavita Pritchard is the name of the quarterback's coach.
Yeah, you do have to give some of that credit to Eric Bieniemy
for the reduced sacks. Absolutely.
Sure.
Oh, I give
and
most
the adjustment
of the credit
in
to him.
game plan.
I give most. Now I'm also down on him because it took him 2 months to figure it out. But at least they have figured it out. Let's see if it continues. But so far so good. I like it. Now, CK hit me to this. I guess our buddy Neil Greenberg over the Washington Post brought up a point, and we talked about it. Sort of, it made national news right after the Bills lost. They fired offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey.
Yep, he said bye-bye.
Okay, and what's interesting,
I thought he was a total scapegoat because
totally,
their offense.
I think most people think that
their offense isn't the problem.
Right. And,
Well,
I mean,
Josh Allen throwing picks is a problem.
right, but you can't fire
you don't
Josh.
think that's- It's definitely a problem.
Right.
It's weird. He's number 1 PFF.
Yeah. Well, Neil pointed out they fired their offensive coordinator, Dorsey, despite scoring 5.5 more points per game than expected. So based on down and distance and all that stuff, they're like 4th in the NFL in scoring based on down.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, and I didn't know this is a real indictment of Jack Del Rio. Neil points this out. Jack Del Rio oversees a defense that is 29th in the league in points per game allowed based on expectation of down distance and field position.
Right.
In other words, I that's got to speak to all the explosive plays that they're giving up, right? Because if it's 3rd and 6 or whatever, you should force a punt X amount of times.
Yep.
We're giving up points on these situations, and we're fairly horrible at it. We're 29th in terms of giving up points based on expectation.
By the way,
29th.
Yeah,
Stan
explosive
corrected.
play has been a huge problem for them.
Josh Allen, number 2 in Pro Football Focus as they grade quarterbacks. Number 1 quarterback this year so far through 10 weeks is
What is 10 weeks? Josh Dobbs. I mean, I don't know.
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff. Okay. Might not want to take PFF as full on gospel.
Yeah, usually it's usually Pat Mahomes or
Where's Mahomes ranking this year? Has he gone down?
Mahomes is number 6.
Yeah.
They've got
They haven't been
their-
as prolific.
their top
sure.
5 are
Well,
Goff.
they have no real receiving threats outside of Travis Kelce.
Despite the interceptions, Josh Allen is number 2. Dak Prescott 3, Tua 4, tied with Lamar Jackson, and then Mahomes. Kirk Cousins was 7. Sam Howell, if you go down,
Like
is
20 or 18? or something?
22.
I don't know how they come up with that.
He's behind Derek Carr in front of Deshaun Watson.
Probably
So
getting dinged a
bizarre
lot
because
because of the sacks.
in
I
the
would assume.
in the
factored in.
last 5-6 weeks, I think he's got the most touchdowns and the most yardage in the NFL.
Right.
You're the one that hit me to that.
I stole that stat from somebody else, but yes, that's
Right.
correct.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
crazy.
last week.
The NFL leading passers in terms of just raw yardage. Sam Howell 1, CJ Stroud 2.
Right.
That's crazy.
Stroud's just killing it in Houston.
Kind of an interesting, nice viral moment. Logan Thomas, your buddy there, Valdezi, went up to DK Metcalf after the game, and he just mentioned to him, hey, bro, he said, I don't know if this means anything to you, but my son is 15. He loves you.
Okay.
He's built just like you. He loves you and everything. And DK right away says, hey, let me give him this, and takes off his jersey.
Nice.
Signs his jersey.
Nice move.
For Logan.
That's classy.
Drabby, is DK known for being that kind of guy? Like, nice guy? I know he's a social media guy. Is he known for being, like, super approachable? You didn't have your headphones on. Is DK known for being super approachable? He gave his signed jersey to Logan when he found out
he's a
his
good
son
guy.
was...
Yeah,
He's
of
known
course.
for that, right?
Well, I don't know if he's known for exchanging jerseys and all that, but yeah, there's no
but
problem.
just being super approachable. Fans
yeah, I
like
think so.
him.
Yeah, he's beloved. Of course.
Seems-
yeah.
he seemed
I mean,
he
he's
was-
not, I don't know if he's Terry. On Terry's level, he had some drama
Terry's unbelievable.
with like leaked text messages with like a threesome or something, or
Oh, with
multiple
DK?
girls. Yeah, or something a year or two ago.
What's wrong with
Yeah,
that?
what's the problem with that?
Called
Well, I mean, I
living
think-
the baller
I mean,
lifestyle.
maybe he's not as wholesome, but he's approachable, nice, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I like him. I think
I've seen him in interviews. He seems very nice.
I mean, on the
Right.
field, he's got some issues as far as his temper, but off the field, no problems.
Okay. All right. We always like to go through Commanders' rankings, where they are in the power rankings. Have you done your JPP?
I did it. I prepared it yesterday, but we bumped it. So I can do
Maybe
it today if you
today?
want.
So here are just, let me see. We're looking at the roundup of the kind of the big sites. ESPN.com has them from last week. They were 19. This week, even though they got the dub they lost, but they were 6.5-point dogs covered by 3.
Yep.
They fell from 19 to 20. NFL.com, they actually moved up 3 spots to 23. CBS Sports from 19 to 20. Pro Football Talk 24 to 25. Pro Football Network 23 to 25. So that seems to be where they are right now, right around 24. One of the
Only
lowest.
14 teams make the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
That's
So
One
if
of
you're
the-
below 14, you're not very good.
USA Today is about the lowest mentioned here. They have them ranked 29th. They think they're
that's very low.
basically the fourth worst football team in the league.
USA
That's
Today
really
thinks
low.
they're dregs.
I'll tell you this. I've told you my methodology. I just go from which teams are worse, and you're finding less and less teams that are definitively worse than Washington. Because there are teams that they're in kind of the same ballpark, in my opinion, as teams like Tampa. How do you differentiate Tampa and Washington?
You can't.
You know what
Quite
I mean?
the legacy that Ron is leaving here in D.C. on his way out.
Well, he said he did an interview. I think it was it maybe Channel 9? He did a sit down with somebody yesterday, and he says it's all right there in front of him, and he is right. I mean, they still can't. They're still in charge. They still can affect their own outcome, right, Cakes? I mean, they're 4-6. If they went on
If
a
they
run,
get on a heater late in the season, sure, they can backdoor their way into the
they
the
still
seventh spot.
control their own destiny, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
They're not eliminated yet, although I feel like that loss on Sunday sealed their fate. If
It
you just use
certainly didn't
basic
help.
logic based on what they've accomplished.
I'll tell you this.
Well, you can't even eliminate the Carolina Panthers, so just
Right.
using the old can't eliminate them yet
If they
logic
somehow
is a
lose
little
to the
weak.
Giants, which I don't think they will, they're 10.5-point favorites. They should smash the Giants at FedEx Field this weekend. But you can't chalk a win up for this team. We've learned that. If they lose to the Giants, I think you can effectively eliminate them.
I think
from
if they
playoff
lose to the
contention.
Giants, Ron would potentially be in jeopardy of being fired. On
Yeah,
the
that
spot.
could move up the timeline.
I think that could, I don't know.
Oh,
What's
yeah,
the
yeah,
tea time tracker?
Right now it's December 4th.
All right, when is that? That's after.
This is after the. I'd have to pull up the
Do
schedule.
you want to
here.
adjust it, or do you like where you're sitting with it right now?
Let's see here. I don't think I want to adjust it quite yet. If I will adjust it if they lose to the Giants.
If they lose to the Giants, there should be a firing during our show. Do you agree with that? You don't? If they lose to the Giants?
So this
And
is
Tommy DeVito?
December 4th.
I've been resolute in my thank you for your service season.
Right.
Thank you for the S sandwich you had to eat under the Snyder era. We're not going to embarrass you on the way
thank
out.
you is the
check.
$8 or $9 million he's going to still collect for doing nothing.
We're not going to embarrass you on the way out.
All
That
right.
could be.
What do you think, Drew?
They can't fire him if they lose to the Giants because they play the Cowboys 4 days later. So even if they lose to the Giants, he could resave his job by beating the Cowboys.
Right.
Or
All
prolong
right, what
it.
if they lose to the Giants and then get embarrassed on
Yeah,
Thanksgiving?
then he's fired. Yeah.
Then he
Fired.
could be.
Black Friday.
Done.
Out.
Black
Yeah.
Friday might be the day.
Yeah.
Could be. If it's a humiliating loss.
You don't think the team could rally if they lose to the Giants and then just institute Bieniemy as a head
maybe
coach?
I just think
I mean,
that's
nothing would really change.
I mean, they don't even practice those weeks. Like, they don't even do anything.
I'm
They're
not
just
even,
like resting.
I'm not
So
even really
implementing
entertaining
game
the
plan.
thought of a loss to the Giants. I've already convinced myself in my brain that they're going to beat the Giants by 7 to 10 points.
I've
convinced myself.
I think anything could happen. Saquon
I mean,
goes off.
How could you lose? How could you possibly lose to Tommy DeVito, even though your defense is
I don't know.
inexplicably bad?
If they
Like,
have a bunch of sacks like they did in the first game, and
well,
they turn those
they've
into
rectified. They've shored that up.
Well,
They've-
let's
they've
see.
okay,
taken
but
care of that.
maybe
You're not going to
maybe-
have a repeat of the
maybe
first game
Wink
against the Giants.
has an edge on EB, the other EB, Eric Bieniemy,
All right, I'm willing to
and
bet.
that they sack him a bunch of times and force a couple turnovers.
What's a good number?
But I'm with you. They're going to be my survivor pick.
Sam Howell will not get sacked more than 4 times by Wink Martindale's defense. I'll take 4 or less.
All right,
You guys
I'll
need
go
5
over.
or more
I go
to
over.
win.
I just want the
You
action.
need 5.
You need 5 to win.
I want it. $5.
Put it in the book.
Sure, $5.
All right,
$5. Anybody else? Any other takers? Anybody?
No, I
I'm
already
pointing
got.
at all of
Wait,
you.
it's a
I already
free
got
roll?
$10 on your freaking ping pong match.
It's true.
And I have
hope,
no control of that.
hope I come through
It's
for
a
you.
free roll?
No, you
betting.
It's a bet.
betting.
Well, of course I'm not going to bet you. You know how many sacks 4 sacks is from the Giants? I'm not going to give you that. 3? 3 split.
They sacked
Yeah,
him a
but
million
they
times
sacked him
in
like
the
100
first
times
game.
the first
Yeah,
go
but
around.
that's the Giants.
Okay, you don't have to take
but
it.
it's
I'm just
Wink
saying. I'm
Martindale.
giving you the number.
He's going to
I'm
sack
putting
him.
it
He's
up.
going to.
I
He's
think
going to
can I tell you
blitz
something?
every
I think
time.
people just like saying Wink Martindale.
I
You don't
really.
think that means anything?
You know what?
No, 100% people just like saying that. They don't even know what
I
he
think of
did.
Wink Martindale, the guy who used to host Tic Tac Dough, means more to me than that goofball call for the
No,
plays in New
he
York.
demonstrably
Go look at the blitz percentages this year. He's not nearly at the top. The Giants
Well,
aren't at the top.
against us he was.
Oh, when he faces the Commanders, he goes to the top.
Against us he was.
I'm keeping the date at December 4th. That's after they lose to the Miami Dolphins.
Right.
Then they go into the bye. You have extra time.
Right.
To December. I'm sticking with December 4th for now. But this will change if they lose to the Giants.